All right, Nick. Coming on a little early today. Partly because I'm an idiot. So, for being honest, this morning, I didn't look at the who, what, when, where, and why. For some reason, I thought this game started at 12:30. Just didn't start at 12:30. So.
The Reds hate us. They hate us. They moved the 12:30s back to 1:10 just to make it harder because we have kids.
They moved it back?
Yeah, they're all 1:10s this year.
Yeah, I thought it was. I thought it was a 12:30 on getaway day. So then I just didn't look at it. So I scheduled a call at 4:30 today, thinking that, Manfred would certainly have the game done by that point. And I just kept watching the game, thinking, you know what, I'm not going to say anything about it because I think maybe this game's moving along, and then we hit a snail's pace there in the 7th. So
yeah.
But
all right, I'm gonna try to clean up the J bar here. We'll do. I'm gonna try to get this on one. Box score, DSC. Because we have like nothing really.
Yeah, this is a game to do.
Probably Valente, Montas.
Yeah,
Friedl.
That's a good one. Chad, it's not over yet, though. I want to openly say that. I mean, it feels like we're down by 7 or down by 2. So
Montas, Friedl, Ford, GT 988. I know we need to do that first.
Yeah, start.
It's really hard. It's really hard to do this on one.
I know. We used to do it on one every time. Now we.
I'm gonna make it work. All right, 988. Yeah, let's do this here, and then we'll do. What's MIL?
Pitch by Buck Farmer right there. He didn't get any credit for it.
Next. There we go, baby. We're on one.
There you go.
We're on one. So game time 988 is after we talk about Montas because we wanted to try to be in the middle of the show.
Right. I get it.
All right, we're in there. One screen today, baby.
We are. I feel like if we get out of this, we have a genuine chance. I mean, you're probably already out of the inning, or you've watched.
I know. I'm still in. I'm 3-2.
Yeah, I got a full count. Buck Farmer just caught the ball, so you can stick with where you got.
Goldschmidt holds the bat up. Buck digs in. Checks the runner. The pitch. Swinging a foul.
All right. I just got the pitch. Swinging a foul.
All right. I'm going to do a little pause and a little play, and we're probably pretty close.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Brutal. I say between innings, we're going to do the Palente.
Okay.
I feel like we can reminisce. Oh.
Come on, Buck.
He just threw an unbelievable pitch to Goldie that at bat, and he didn't get a call. He didn't get it called. It's tough. Got a problem with his chain here or what? And that's going to be a sold-out crowd. The bobblehead.
So let's troubleshoot. Let's troubleshoot live here. All right. Yeah. So do you have to use this computer for your meeting?
No, I use my phone. I just need to do a group call.
Could we leave the let's say if the Reds were to rally here.
If the Reds rally,
leave VMix up and going.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. No. I won't turn the show off on you. The only thing that you would have to do, Nick,
He's going to YouTube and end the stream.
Correct. I can get you set up to where you have your
and
deal here.
I can sing the music because I can't play the music.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you would. You'd be SOL. Yeah, you wouldn't have the music.
I'll just say, pretend there's a song here. We're starting the show.
Correct. I mean, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful I get to be a part of the show here a little bit.
I kind of hope you're not, to be honest. I kind of hope that we get a big rally here and you get.
Well, I mean, that's 20 minutes, man. That's 20 minutes. That's a long time.
Oh, Buck.
I need Buck Farmer to throw strikes, though.
Yeah, might not matter. Wow. Did you see that replay?
Wow, yeah. Thank the Lord.
That was a break.
That was a great break. Dude, that umpire looks like he's 22 years old.
That's tough.
Yeah. That's just a big run.
Friedl's not due up, is he? He made the last out. Steer?
Steer made the last out.
He's due up. Fifth.
Golly, man. What? Why did they start these games at 1?
They're telling you, man, they hate us.
Well, I'm saying these games are ending at like. Good play. All right, we got a puncher's chance here, Nick.
It's almost like they say, well, let's move these games back because of the Manford rule, and it's not as bad, and the games will go as long. But they didn't do the same thing for the night games.
Well, wouldn't you want the games to finish in like well before like rush hour?
Well, I think the reason they play 12:35 is it's more to be accommodating to the opposing team on getaway day. But since the games go shorter, they feel like they could probably move back to 1. I wish they would use the same logic with the 6:40 start times.
Correct. Yeah, we're getting. I don't think it's over, chat. I know there's a lot of people that are maybe down in the Andrew. We're all right. Come on, it's okay. Like I know the one thing. I don't know if we want to get into the show now, but I want to say this in case I have to run. Like I'm not overly beat up today. I feel like there's just times where you have sluggish offensive days, and they've had some better at bats as of recently. But this team, I don't know how often we can expect. Like getting Palented. Like I don't know how often we can expect this team to be consistently good. So this is kind of what you get every so often. The only disappointment, if you want to call it that, is it feels like this team always wins the first game of a series and then they can't find a way to win one of the next 2, which is a big deal. Like winning series builds momentum, and they do the hardest thing. They do what seems to be the hardest thing to do to win a series, which is to win the first game. Because if you lose the first game to win a series, clearly you got to win back-to-back days, and that's not easy. So, I don't know. They've found a way to lose so many series where they've won the first game, and it's becoming a little bit of a nuisance.
Yeah, this would be, if they don't come back, this would be their 8th straight rubber game they would lose. That's like almost impossible to do, right?
No, it would be.
Oh, man, I didn't do any of this. All
right. We've gotten out hit. To be honest, the runs we produced were not the most beautiful runs. There we go. There we go, Nick.
Do it, Dave, for Martini.
There we go. Come on, that's why that run's so massive. Golly, day that run's massive. It does seem like if you were to lose, what's more frustrating? To lose the way that the Reds have lost this season, which is just be really, really bad offensively, or to have a team that has a good offense but just can't pitch. Like, if you lose a bunch of games that are 9-8, 9-7, or losing these 4-1, 4-2, 5-2.
I would say this just because at least the team that hits is more fun.
Yeah, I keep feeling that way too. It's like I'd rather lose by scoring runs.
Yeah,
this is a tough watch.
I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, you know, reality, it's the same thing. But
right,
if I had to pick,
they're gonna win this game.
I love it.
I don't. I'm just telling you. I feel like they're gonna win this game. Boy, I'll tell you what. 3-0, you got to take.
Yes, yeah. Honestly, I don't know. I'm okay if India just takes 3 straight pitches.
That's where we're at. That's where we're at. There we go, baby. Come on.
Cancel that meeting, Trace.
Come on.
Cancel the meeting.
Something's good has to happen for us eventually. Like, we can't keep getting on these streams, and every single time it's just been disappointment after disappointment in these 9th innings. Now, I know we don't hit a lot of home runs.
Hurtaby's pinch hitting for Fairchild. Sorry to cut you off.
That's fine. I don't hate it. I hope he knows that he can't bunt here, though, unless he's bunting for a hit.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he'd be bunting for a hit. It depends on if the defense is, not respecting him. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, if he better be sure he gets a good bunt down then.
Have you ever seen a pitching coach come out to the mound and not look like he needs to call 988?
No. Yeah, I mean,
they're always so serious.
Correct. Yeah, there's not too many smiles. Come on, Jacob.
Oh, man, it's a good first pitch.
Yeah, how's he throw 4 pitches just completely out of the zone like that, and then he dots an outside fastball?
I don't think he meant to.
No, it was an accident.
That one there.
They're definitely taking the bunt away at third. Get through there. Not the world's worst thing. Not the world's worst thing. Could have no double plays. Takes the double play option out of play.
I'm not sure I want to look up. I'm not sure I want to look this up.
What?
How many home runs does Helsley allow? He's given up 2 this year. He's given up 2. Only gave 1 last year. I knew it was really bad last year.
Well, I just need him to accidentally throw one right in the middle of the barrel.
There you go.
We accidentally hit a home run. He's 4 for 6 off this dude.
Yeah, that's a wild.
Yeah.
Although Helsley had like 1 season where he was terrible. So I wonder if it was all in that. Like Helsley in 2021 had a 4.5 ERA. And Stevenson was great that year. So like I wonder how many of those hits were in
right, all 6 of them.
Yeah.
All 6 at bats came in that season. Nice. All right. I really would love to give Ellie. Let's get Ellie to the plate. Somehow, some way.
Oh, Casey show's not live on Twitter. Yeah, I need to do that. Oh man, Steven would have hit that out. I didn't have it on Twitter.
Damn, man.
All right, TJ, you still got the tying run at the plate.
I want Ellie to get to the plate, man. I need Ellie to get to the plate.
TJ, his return. All right, I got this on Twitter. Let's see how quick I can do this. We got to teach the interns how to do this when I forget.
Go to Twitter.
Because this is really easy to do. It's just kind of hard to do and talk. All right, Chatterbox Reds live post game. Well, that's all we're gonna do. Yeah, we'll do Reds versus Cardinals. All right, we're up.
I don't love the fact that Friedl just coming back straight raw dogging it like that. Just, I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't really love that either. I felt like, especially like they don't play tomorrow. We could have sent him for like 2 rehab games. Hopefully, it makes us look stupid.
Yeah, I'm praying for that.
Please make us look stupid.
I just want Ellie to get to the plate, man. That's got a good feeling about Ellie.
All right.
All right. This is it.
You got your wish.
Come on.
You got your wish.
This is it. Hit the damn thing to the moon, brother. This is it. This is your moment. You throw that 100-mile-an-hour fastball in there, and I want Ellie De La Cruz to be ready to hit it. Please. One time. Let us have nice things. One time.
He was going to throw him a first pitch fastball.
No. Come on, Ellie. No.
Did you consider Friedl taking second?
No. Ellie's trying to hit this thing out of the yard. But it's not a terrible idea. You think you can get there. Right at the... I hate this game.
I say just don't even do the intro. Let's just go right into it.
All right, we'll do the news director, the Hollywood acting stuff. Ready for this one? All right, welcome into a unfortunately losing edition of Chatterbox Reds, which means it's a losing series. Unfortunately, we weren't on the tube last night, which means tonight, and by tonight I mean today, Nick, we have to talk about things that are not so fun to talk about, which are ways in which I don't know how to really. There's no real answer why they can't find a way to win these rubber games, right? Like it's not one thing, clearly.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you say about a guy like Andre Palante coming in and just throwing 6 shutout innings, only giving up 3 hits?
Yeah. No, I will get into it. I think let's do this. We'll do the script, and I'll run literally as long as I possibly can, and then we'll go from there. But I think let's just do the box score recap. That'll get us fresh. We'll get into the DSC, of course, which I don't know. Be interesting to see where that goes.
Yes. 1 second here. Let's make sure this is accurate. There we go. Sorry, TJ.
That's tough.
Oh, and Ellie. Oh, man.
Yeah, 2 for 5.
Ah, man. All right.
That's all right. Box score recap presented by Nick Kirby.
All right, Reds taking on the Cardinals. Reds entered having lost 7 straight rubber games, their most since 1982. Cardinals went with Andre Palante to make his first start of the season. He had a 6.30 ERA as a reliever this year. Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol said when asked why he went with Palante prior to the game, quote, "He was the freshest pitcher we had. Palante would throw 6 shutout innings, only yielding 3 hits to the Reds. Frankie Montes gave up a solo home run to Matt Carpenter in the 3rd, and then 2 more runs to the Cardinals in the 4th. He ended up getting through 6, allowing 3 runs. Reds would get 1 run in the 7th, 1 run in the 8th. They did get a run in the 9th, had Ellie De La Cruz at the plate as the winning run. But unfortunately, Ellie would ground out to end the game. Reds fall 5-3, 6-3, 6-4, something. I don't even remember. 5-3.
It was 5-3, yeah. But that's okay, Nick. Clean it up for the podcast. As a reminder, the podcast will be available each and every single morning. Yeah, Palante. I let's get into, I guess, the overall. I don't. Here's the thing with aggressiveness, and when aggressiveness doesn't work, or you're not patient at the plate, and that doesn't work, then immediately you get frustrated by the idea of the opposite. What I mean by that is that if you watch guys take a bunch of pitches, then you get frustrated at the fact that you're not giving yourself as many opportunities to swing. You only give yourself 1 swing at a bat, et cetera, et cetera. But if you go up there first pitch and you hit a lazy fly ball and that doesn't work, then all of a sudden you're frustrated because you're not getting a guy deep into the count. Again, we have another starter, Nick, that was relatively pitch efficient. It felt like he wasn't. To be clear, I want to say I don't think it was much as him as it is our offense at times. Like, did he make some good pitches? Yes, he made some good pitches. But overall, Steer missed a cookie, Fraley missed a cookie. Those were both in big spots. Okay, they were. When you're looking at the quadrants, if you will, of the strike zone, and they split them all up, they were in the middle, the most middle portion of the strike zone that you could possibly get, and they missed them. And you know what? You're gonna miss pitches. You're not gonna hit. Every single time you make a terrible pitch, it doesn't get hit hard. It's just, unfortunately, right now, it doesn't feel like this team can consecutively put together good at bat after good at bat after good at bat. We get 2 outs, then a guy gets a base hit. We get 2 outs, then a guy might walk. And then at the end of the day, like when you look at the box score, I guess you kind of look at you're like, well, Ellie had a decent day today, Fraley had an okay day. Nick Martini had a multi-hit day. But you look down, and they really weren't all that competitive. And the biggest thing, I think the biggest storyline, Nick, at this point is the power. Because it's one thing, it's one thing to just to try to get guys on, move them over, and get them in. It's just a hell of a lot easier to get a broken bat single and then somebody hit one out and you got 2 runs. As simple as that. And they just don't do that.
Yeah, shout out to DSC, a leader in renewable commodities for biofuel production. Deep South Commodities for always sponsoring our show. Yeah, when you look at Palante's line, initially your thought would be, how could you let this guy throw 6 innings against you? But I think if you actually dig a little deeper and you watch the game, I don't think the approach was wrong. I mean, there was a lot of pitches right down the middle. I think you want Palante to be the guy in there throwing the pitches down the middle. The Reds just missed him. And as you mentioned, the power, that's the biggest problem with this team. And I don't even think it's close. I think it's just that you have guys that they don't have enough guys that can hit the ball out of the ballpark. Jake Fraley only having 1 home run this year is just the most bizarre thing I can remember. based on, kind of what you expected going into the year. And just up and down the lineup. I mean, there's some guys that can hit the ball to the ballpark, but if there's one criticism about this team and the way it was constructed this year, it was that they didn't go get a guy like a Jorge Soler or a guy that could just hit home runs, because that is reared its ugly head, I think, more than anything this season.
It's more than fair. And listen, we can blame the injuries and all of those types of things time and time again, but I think we were hoping that Candelario was going to kind of be the middling of the Jorge Soler signing and or JD Martinez, or fill in the blank of some other right-handed bopper that you like. But they didn't go get that. They got Candelario, and I think we thought to ourselves, well, you add in Candelario, you mix him in, you still have, Benson's a guy that I think we were hoping would probably, like, when I tell you Will Benson's like, one home run off the leader of the club, that should make you kind of be a little worried. Like, you should probably kind of, you hear that, and you would eventually, I would think, hope to take a step back and think, man, I didn't think it was this bad. And that's kind of where I was at today, looking up and down some of these some up and down the lineup, and just the numbers in general are very bad. And I don't know, I don't know if it's a reflection of just too small of a sample size, Nick, or we've given too much credit to some of these guys. And I don't know. We're not going to get that answer until when? Maybe middle of July. That's probably when you'll actually have some solid answers. And by that point, you're, not to say it's too late to make a change, but it's definitely too far into the season to be able to pick which guy you need to get rid of and which guy you need to keep around. Because again, if you give Will Benson less at bats now, and then he gets hot in 2 weeks, or what are you going to do with Steer too? Like, I hate to say this, but he's falling off a cliff. We do this all the time. Like, I don't want people to think that I don't care. I watched a game like today, and I think it just resembles it's kind of who they are. So I'm not going to get mad about it anymore. I think more so than anything, last thing I'll say is, like, when we're as a fan base begging a relay throw to be perfect at the plate and then have to tag a guy out going from first to home in Great American Ballpark, and we feel demoralized by that in the third inning, that speaks incredibly highly of our offense. Last year, Nick, in the fifth inning, we could be down by 3 runs, and I was like, I don't care. I mean, we're going to win. We're going to find a way to come back and win. This year, you're down by 3 runs. It feels like 9. So,
yeah, and also, I mean, it's worth mentioning. I mean, Christian Encarnacion Strand by Zips was projected to hit 28 home runs. I think he only has 1, and he's been hurt and barely a part of this team this year. So I think the combination of not going and getting a power hitter, the one guy you were really banking on to be that one just straight masher, not producing at all this year, that's the biggest reason that the Reds are where they're at. One other thing, I know a lot of times we like to poke fun at when you lose a game, but your bullpen throws 3 shutout innings. That would have mattered today. And again, you can't for sure say that they still would have, all things would have been equal, but Suter giving up a run, Farmer giving up a run, not dumping on those guys because they pitched good all year, but those innings where you're down and you keep the line moving, it gives you a chance, and any win you could get, it matters. So I think that sometimes when those guys do throw those garbage time innings that are scoreless, they do end up mattering at some point.
Yeah, I mean, Frankie Montas throws 6 innings, 3 earned runs. And, like, you would have thought that he gave up 8 runs based off the way we reacted. Like, I think in my where I'm at as a fan more than anything is just like, I'm going to stop trying to put so much emphasis on the pitching and expecting them to try to get us through. It's almost like, in a really terrible analogy maybe, it's almost like, you have like 3 or 4 kids and they all come home and maybe they didn't get the perfect grades on the test, and then you look at the kid that usually gets the A's and they got a B, and you start scolding the kid that got a B. It's like, I mean, let's get on the kids that get D's and F's all the time. Maybe we should give the other guys a break. I'm done with the starting pitching in the bullpen. Like, I'm not saying you're blaming them. I'm just saying, like, we got to. The other thing too is, like, it's got to be stressful to be a starting pitcher for this team and or a bullpen guy, because you feel like you're always on needles. Like you feel like, okay, like if I give up a run here, it's going to put us in a really tough spot, right? Versus pitching with a lead. Like these guys don't get the luxury of pitching with many leads. So, I'm just kind of giving them a pass, if you will. So I don't know if you have anything to add on Frankie, but I'm not saying he's great or perfect, Nick, but I'm not overly concerned about it.
Yeah, Reds win this game 5-3 instead of losing it 5-3. We're talking about, hey, nice job by Frankie Montas gutting through 6 innings.
Right.
There was one thing I really did not like from Montas's game, just if I'm trying to be fair and analyze it. It would be in the 4th inning. He had Mason Wynn at the plate with 2 outs, and Mason Wynn has been absolutely on fire. He had Michael Ciani on deck, who's not a good hitter at all, who's literally only in there for defense. Threw a pitch to Wynn that was very hittable. That's an at bat. I think you probably need to be a little bit more careful. But again, you're under such a microscope with Frankie Montas because of the offense. But that was one thing that I didn't like about his approach in this game.
And I think the relay, you got to be able to throw out Goldschmidt trying to score from first base at Great American Ballpark with the ball down the line like that. Like a good defense, he's out. And I don't know who you want to blame. I'm tired of blaming one person all the time. I thought that Steer probably could have made a better throw. Like that was the crux of the issue. Maybe Fraley could have got to the ball quicker. And obviously Maley could have maybe dug it out of the dirt and made the tag. I will say, if you go back and watch that replay, Maley's tag was late regardless on that. I don't know if you looked, but essentially by the time he got, even though he missed it when he went to tag, he was still safe. So, but you got to be able to hose him down. And but again, that's one run out of an entire baseball game, and we can sit here and continue to find ways to complain about the defense and the pitching when we all know the real issue, which is the offense. All right, game time. We have an opportunity to get ourselves in a position where you can go to baseball games. Yesterday, Nick, I gave out some tickets because I had some extras. But if you don't have somebody where you can just get tickets from anywhere, Nick, where should you go?
Yeah, the Game Time app is now an authorized ticket marketplace in Major League Baseball. That makes getting tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. Killer last-minute deals, all-in pricing, views from your seats, and the lowest price guaranteed. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. They have all-in pricing. You can toggle this feature, and it shows you the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. Lowest price guaranteed, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code CINCY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account. Redeem the code CINCY, CINCY, for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. That's
right. Nick, professional ad reader. And I just want to also say life is better with you in it. 988, text, call if you need it. Mantherapy.org. Jump into this situation. I know I'm running out of time, but I'm just trying to push the envelope as much as I can here. Get you to Reds MILB. They made a decision. They finally had to do it, Nick. It was one of those situations where can't put someone on the IL this time, baby. It's they had Friedl. He returns. We already discussed a little bit pregame or pre-show, I should say, in the middle of the ninth there. I don't love the idea of Friedl coming back immediately, not having any reps at all, and then all of a sudden it's just a pain tolerance thing. But then they do have to DFA Mike Ford, so it didn't work out. Unfortunately, all the hoopla in Cincinnati about whether they should keep Mike Ford, cut him, blah blah blah, just ended up not mattering at all. And but that's the situation on hand. Where are you at on any of that? That seemed like the right decision, yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised. The Reds gave him guaranteed money. I thought they'd want to ride it out a little bit longer. I thought, ownership might say, "Yeah, you want to pay this guy? We're gonna." They made the right call. Look, it was the right decision to throw him on the roster, give him a shot with literally no other options. The right decision just to cut bait. I would have liked to have saw Friedl go get 2 rehab games, but again, he did walk twice today. So I'm not, again, it's just so damned if you do, damned if you don't right now. I don't know what else to say.
Can I ask you a question? I maybe I'm off base on this really quickly, but can we put Ellie De La Cruz in the leadoff spot, please?
I've wanted him in the leadoff spot forever. I feel like you're going to maybe give him a chance to, get a first pitch that a pitcher, makes a mistake on. I would love him in the leadoff spot. I don't. Yeah. That's where I think he fits better long term. I think he's just like Ronald Acuna. They put him in the leadoff spot. It works. That's where I want him. I get why they didn't early in the year, but I mean, just make sure he gets the most at bats.
Yeah, and also on top of that, like he's just a game changer on the base pass. So it's like, can we maybe just lead off a game and accidentally get him on base to lead the inning off, and he steals second base, steals third base, and then all of a sudden we steal a run in the first inning and our vibes are high. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it a bit, but it just seems like there's nobody on this team that I think to myself, wow, like they definitely should be in the leadoff spot. So if that's if we're at a position where that's the case, then why not stick a guy there that has an unbelievable amount of havoc when he does get on base. All right. Anything else to add on Friedl and Ford? You good?
I'm good. I'll finish this bad boy off. We'll be back on Friday afternoon.
We will. We'll be back Friday, and we're going to have a legit show on Friday. And what happened? I think my son's completely concerned that he just messed up the entire show. But here's the thing. I'm going to put you full screen, clear the middle graphic. You can do Reds in MLB, who, what, when, where, and why. We'll be back better than ever on Friday. Take it away, Nick.
All right, folks. I'll run through Reds MLB and what's coming up next, and then I'll check the chat. If you guys have any questions, I'm happy to kind of answer them, and then we'll wrap this up. So Reds MLB, no one's in action yet, but there's a lot of really good pitchers going tonight. So Louisville will be taking on Iowa. That's the Cubs affiliate. That'll be at 6:35. Connor Phillips scheduled to start in that one. He's obviously had a really tough year so far, so be nice to see him get back on track. Double-A Chattanooga, they're taking on Tennessee. That's also the Cubs affiliate. That's at 7 o'clock. Rhett Lauder is scheduled to start. And one note on that is the MILB free game of the day. So you don't even have to have an MLB TV or an MILB TV subscription. If you have like a smart TV, you just download the MLB app on your smart TV and you can watch that. So Chattanooga broadcast might leave a little bit to be desired. Or no, they're at Tennessee. So the Cubs, they have a solid broadcast. But I'd recommend checking that out. Checking out Rhett Lauder tonight. That's at 7 o'clock, and it's free game of the day. Dayton, they're playing a doubleheader. Their first game is at 5. Second game at 8, a pitcher that I'm intrigued on watching, Javi Rivera. He's scheduled to start in game 2. And then Daytona, they will be taking on Jupiter at 6:35. What's coming up next? Reds off on Thursday, and then the Reds will be taking on the Cubs. Cubs have not announced their starters yet, but Friday will be 2:20, Graham Ashcraft, possibly against Javier Assad. Saturday will be a 7:15 game. This is a national TV game on Fox again, another national TV game on Fox on Saturday. Hunter Green going up possibly against Justin Steele, so that could be a pretty good matchup. And then Sunday, 2:20, Nick Lodolo against possibly Ben Brown. I'll try to get a podcast up on Friday morning when we get kind of the starters and give you a little bit more of a detailed preview about the Cubs. All right, I'm going to pull up the chat. If anyone has any questions, anything you'd like me to kind of talk about, I'm happy to do it. Rick asked, how about Lyon Richardson? Lyon got off to a really tough start. He was walking everyone, but his last couple times out, he's looked a lot better. I like Lyon Richardson. I think that last year I would really caution putting too much stock in like what he did at the end of the year, because it was his first year coming back off Tommy John. I think he was just really tired at the end of the year. But I do like Lyon Richardson. Honest fan, Lauder getting slapped around in Chattanooga. Yes, I think if you watch the games, you might feel a little bit different. First off, the Chattanooga defense is atrocious, so he didn't get a lot of help. And he's had like 2 starts there where he didn't make it out of an inning because he had a pitch count limit. So I think if he would have been able to make it out of those innings, he probably would have put up some zeros, and then his ERA would look a whole lot better. But I really hope that he can put a good start together tonight. If he doesn't tonight, maybe there's a little bit of reason for concern about where he's at. Obviously, I wouldn't be concerned at all about where he's at long term, but in terms of can Lauder help the Reds maybe later this year or early next year, if he struggles tonight and over his next couple starts, that might put a little bit more pressure on that. Do I have any Laura's Lean commercial ideas? That's a good one. I don't know, chat. I need the chat to come up with that. Your bobblehead collection is awesome. Can you do a quick tour of them? My camera's like attached. It would I can't really do all that. So it's not like a laptop. Maybe I'll put a little video up. Maybe members only. I don't know. Maybe I'll put it up on Twitter. I don't know. But I haven't got any bobbleheads in a long time. I don't live in Cincinnati anymore. I made a conscious effort to like always go to all the bobblehead games. But that's kind of slowed down living up in Northeast Ohio. So I do love bobbleheads, though. I try to get them whenever I can. What do you think about Alan Serta? Alan Serta, I think he got DFA'd. I think he's released, not DFA'd, because he wasn't on the 40-man roster. I think he's officially gone. Let me double check. Alan Serta. I liked Alan Serta. I was really hoping it would work. Let's see. Yeah, he was released, so he's no longer in the Reds organization. Are you satisfied with the season by Frankie Montas? I don't know if I would say I'm satisfied. I'm not like distraught. Like I think he's been okay. I think if the Reds offense was playing better, I think we'd feel a lot better about Frankie Montas. Again, this is a guy coming back off of almost missing an entire year. He's been okay. I wish he would have done better, but I'm also not like distraught about what he's done. Do we win the series of the weekend in Chicago? Andrew, my man, I have no idea. They swept the Dodgers. They lose to a Cardinals series in a series that, like the Dodgers series looked like they had no chance of winning it. You look at the pitching matchups on paper, it looks like they have no chance of winning it. Cardinals series looks like one of the easier series they've had all year, and they lose that. I don't know. It's tough to win at Wrigley. The Reds have played better at Wrigley. I think I was kind of looking at this earlier than maybe like I thought. I thought that the Reds got beat around at Wrigley, but there's a fun stat for you. Since 1940, the Reds have a winning record at Wrigley Field. Nick got the hell out of Cincy. My wife brought me up to Northeast Ohio. Should we trade Elliott to Chicago for a power hitter? I don't know if that's Ellie or he's making a joke with Elliott. I would say neither one. Let's keep them both. Molly asked, how is Betty? Betty's doing well. Betty was running a temperature last night. The doctor said to take her in to the ER just to be precautious when they're under like a month. Like they never take any chances. We got there and she was fine. It was just a long night, but Betty is doing good. Thank you for asking. I do appreciate that. Sorry we weren't able to do a stream. Kind of one of those situations where it was like 7th inning and realized at that point got to take her up to the ER and not really much I can do. We're going to work on trying to have some backups though, so hopefully we can avoid those situations. Jeff Faree, I am a full-time Chatterbox employee as of January 1st. Yeah, I love what I do. So during the Red season, probably about half my work is just this show and the podcast. I do put quite a bit of effort into the podcast. And my other is basically making a lot of the social clips that you see for Chatterbox and then just other little stuff trying to hopefully make Chatterbox better. During the off season, it'll be like a lot more social clips and trying to get content out, and we'll see whatever else I can help them. When do we become sellers, Nick? It's a possibility. I think that you have to. I think one of the most important jobs as a GM is knowing your team. I know a lot of people hated what the Reds did last year, but I think that the Reds realized that their chances of making the postseason weren't necessarily through the roof. And so I think that they didn't go all in as buyers. So I don't know. You have to really know your team. I would say that if, the Reds are more than 5 out of a wild card spot, then I think they should probably sell pretty aggressively at the deadline. But there's still a lot of time. We still got 2 months before you really have to make that decision. So much can happen in 2 months. So much happened with the Reds losing 8 in a row. They could go on a run and you could feel completely different about this team. But I would fully support them being aggressively selling if they're probably more than 5 out. Nate, we will not see I don't know how to say the guy's name. He's pitching, I think, tonight, or he pitched last night. He is not going to pitch in that series. Jay Allen, South Stewart, Cam Collier. I guess honest fans asking about them. I've been thrilled with what Jay Allen's done this year. I hope they promote him to Chattanooga. He just has so many stupid little injuries that aren't his fault. Love to see him get to Chattanooga because he's been a prospect that's been a really fun prospect to track, but has just been derailed by injuries. It'd be cool to see him get Chattanooga because he could kind of be like the premier prospect on the team and get a chance to like kind of showcase his ability. Right now, he's kind of like stuck with like all these other good prospects. I love South Stewart. I think he's got a real chance to be a real impact big league hitter. And then Cam Collier, he's had an impressive year. He's had a very impressive year. I think he's going to have some ups and downs just because of how young he is. But I believe in Cam Collier. I like all three of those guys. I would honestly say, like, if you threw Hector Rodriguez into that, I know Hector Rodriguez has been great. I would say he might actually be the least on that list for me. Ricky, do we bring up Austin Hendrick and see what happens? I think we would know what would happen, Ricky. I do not think it would be good. All right. Anything else? We're concerned with Benson's strikeouts. I don't know. Benson, I think this organization made a mistake giving Benson so many at-bats against left-handed pitching early in the year. I think that messed him up a lot. I think overall he's been pretty decent against right-handed pitching, not at the level that we want to see. I don't know. I just hope that they stop playing him against lefties, which they've been doing. They pinch hit for him against a lefty today. And I hope that can help him get on track because the Reds need anyone to get hot. Will Betts is one of the few players on this team that can actually get hot and hit home runs and have a lot of extra base hits. So the Reds desperately need anyone like Will Benson to get rolling. What else? Are we ever bringing up Rhys Hines? I mean, Rhys Hines is striking out like almost 50% of the time at Triple-A. I don't know. He might be worth a shot in the pan just because the Reds have like no options against lefties other than like Stuart Fairchild, and you end up having to have guys like Nick Martini get at bats against lefties. But I don't know. It's very. I'm sure the Reds are like, man, this really stinks because this is a year that they could really use Rhys Hines. Like his role would fit the team so well, but he just hasn't performed well at Triple-A. His defense is also maybe left a little bit desired from at least what I've watched. I don't watch every single game, but his defense has been a little bit disappointing. John, don't think Hurtubise is the answer. Find a legit bench bat. I don't know if he's the answer, but he's not the problem right now. I think I'd give him more of a shot. Matt Wells, a super chat. Appreciate you, Matt Wells. Is the value of this season now to determine who is or is not a part of the plan for 25 to 27? When you would mix this talent with the next group? That's a really good question, Matt. I mean, I think that going into the year, like that needed to be part of the trying to win and determine that needed to be like two things that you both needed to do. You need to do two things at one time with that. But yeah, I mean, the more the Reds would fall out of the race. I don't think they're dead yet by any means, but they're not too far away from that. If they were to have another big losing streak or another really bad stretch of baseball, and there's not really a lot of players right now though that you could mix in. Like, I'm not super high on Rhys Hines. Blake Dunn. He started the year hurt. He's a guy that you could get up and maybe just give him a shot to see kind of what he has. He's also older. But then the next guy would be like Edwin Arroyo. He's out for the year. And then everyone else is just so far away at Dayton. You're probably not going to have any of those guys be realistic options, unfortunately, until some point next season. So, fortunately, the Reds are kind of stuck. I mean, like, let's say that this year just play out completely goes south. The Reds are going to have to probably try to find a lot of guys on one-year deals or short-term deals next year to maybe fill the gap between then. If a lot of these guys just prove that they're not guys that you can count on. But I mean, the Reds, I mean, like if things go south, I mean, the Reds could be like trading guys like Jake Fraley at the deadline, and kind of rehauling a little bit, for next season around with your core pieces like your Ellie, your McLean, your Steer, your CES, and those kind of guys. All right. See if there's anything else. Honest fan, sell Fraley, sell Candy, sell Montes. I think you probably sell all of them if you're out. I mean, it just depends on what you're getting back. Fraley's probably not going to get you a ton back, but he's starting to get expensive. So if you're out of it, I don't really see a reason why you would be so gung-ho on keeping him. Candelario, you're not going to like this. If you're out of it at the deadline, I think you would try to trade Candelario for someone who's basically just going to pay his salary the rest of the way. Not against Candelario, but if the Reds could have signed Candelario on a one-year deal, they would have done that. So basically, it's just, all right, we tried it. We didn't work. We'll try to find another free agent at the end of the year. And then Montes will be the interesting one. If you could get anything of value back, sure, absolutely trade him. Remember last year at the trade deadline, pitching was at an all-time premium. So even like if Frankie Montes has a 4.5 ERA at the trade deadline, that might actually get you like a decent prospect back. As crazy as that might sound, because teams were so desperate to find pitching. Remember, like Lance Lynn brought back a legit prospect last year for the Dodgers. But if Montes isn't getting you back a legit prospect, he might be worth keeping because he does have an option next year, and you might be able to like use that and say, hey, we kept you, and try to get him to pick that up or work out some other deal. But again, there's still a long 2 months between now and the deadline. But it's just fun conversations, I guess, to kind of have thinking ahead. Mark, do I think we make any trades before the deadline? That's not been this team's MO. It's really hard to make trades before the deadline. If you do, you're going to have to significantly overpay most of the times, unless you find a team that just wants to move on for a guy because they're maybe worried about injury risk. But again, do you want to bring in a guy that's injury risks? I would be pretty surprised. Nick, let's pretend the Reds are buyers. What player are you trading for? I mean, I'd probably be trading for an impact bat. Like the Mets might move JD Martinez. Here's the problem, guys. Let me run this through with you. I follow the Reds so close to try to do the show on a daily basis that I have no idea what the hell's going on with the rest of Major League Baseball. So I was in we were at the hospital last night, and we turned on the TV while we're just sitting waiting, and put on the Guardians game. And I live in Cleveland. I don't know anything that's going on with the Guardians. Not because I'm like against, but I have to follow the Reds so close that I don't know. But like, so I don't know the rest of the league, but JD Martinez would probably be a guy that the Mets would be looking to move. He would be the kind of bat that I think you could bring in and could give you a chance, and you're not selling the farm to get him, because Martinez, I think, is paid a decent salary this year. So the Mets would probably be looking just to kind of move him just to kind of eat some salary. That would be the kind of player that I would be looking for. Andrew, am I worried about Ellie's lack of power? I don't think Ellie's necessarily has a lack of power. I mean, I think it's going to be ebbs and flows. I mean, I know like he hasn't hit a lot of home runs of late, but where is he at? He's at 9 home runs. I think he's only projected to hit 22. So he's about on pace for what he was kind of expected to do going into the year. So I don't know. I think, again, Ellie's going to be a guy because of his game, because he swings so hard, that when he's going well, he's going to look really, really good. And when he's not going well, he's going to look bad. So I don't know. I'm not going to waste time worrying about Ellie until I have to waste time worrying about Ellie. All right. Any other last questions? I'm going on a little date night with the wife tonight, so I'm going to get off of here. I'm going to take this last one here from Anthony. Could we see a trade like the Bauer trade a few years back, except for a hitter? Yeah, Anthony, that's a really good one. That could be a deal that I could see this team making if they're like kind of in the middle between sellers and buyers, because that year they of course traded Puig. That could have helped that team, but also got a player with still 2 years of control left. That's a really good idea. I think that could be the kind of move that I could see this team making. All right. Well, I'm going to get off of here. Thanks, everyone, as always, for watching. We'll try to have a podcast version on Friday morning. I'm actually getting fiber installed at my house tomorrow. Knock on wood that they come and they're able to do that. So I'm going to be without internet for a little while, but hopefully my streams will be a little bit better. But I'm going to try at some point to record something for the podcast version for Friday morning, previewing the Cubs series, talking a little Reds MILB. Of course, there'll be a podcast tomorrow morning, as always. That we'll have a little bit of the show, not a whole lot. I'll run through all of the Reds minor league games from tonight, kind of in detail, and then hopefully on Friday morning we'll have a podcast previewing the Cubs series more in detail, and then also talking Reds MILB. But again, thanks as always for listening. Because of I'm doing the stream and Trace had to jump off, I can't play the outro music, so pretend that there's outro music playing as we exit the show today. I hope that you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday. Enjoy the Reds day off, and we'll talk again soon. Go Reds.